Hey guys, good morning. Welcome. Hopefully it works, the service here. But so creepy. I have a picture of myself in the background. Stalker to me. It's between me and me. I was doing it's quick time. I filmed something. But anyways, you guys, welcome and good morning. I hope you're all doing well. We got on to members and we were talking astrology here. Well, there was actually nobody in the room, but I filmed on hourly. And it was early, so not a huge surprise. But anyways, whatever's meant to be. So, but we talked earlier this morning, and I was chatting a bit about the Mercury transit in Gemini, and I figured, yeah, it's kind of, these are some, this is gonna, well, yeah, today is weird. I'm gonna just be like, yeah, no. Like yesterday and today, like tail end of yesterday, earlier today, is gonna be a little interesting. It's not something that necessarily, like, should astrology make you more worried or more freaked out, but it's just, this is more, if you are feeling something anyways, and it's like, what's that? Could very well be that the moon has, what? I just saw your comment. Yeah, so, the moon is currently in Gemini, and Gemini is ruled by Mercury, right? So, Mercury is currently in Libra, and it literally just went retro, officially. It's been retrograde. It's been in pre-shadow, but it's officially now, like, retro, as everyone calls it. But, yeah. If we really want to get honest, really, when Uranus went retrograde, that's when it really started to feel like Mercury retro. All of the technology broke. Everything, so many things were shattering. It was just like bizarre. But hey, it's meant to be. I haven't worn my eye. You guys haven't seen an eye watch on me for a few months now. Yeah, because it's like, all right. And so, but that's, yeah, Uranus is also rules technology. But anyways, I felt the retro vibes really coming on when Uranus officially went retro. And obviously now Mercury's retro, I'm definitely feeling it. Are you guys feeling it? This Mercury retrograde? Like I said yesterday on our Astro Talk, I think we had an amazing 2 days of holding our breath. It was like a vibe. It was just streamlining. It was so grounding. I felt it was something, and maybe if it's just different, we've been through a heck of a lot lately. Yeah, and we had some really good months back a few months ago. Well, what is good? It's all relative, and this is also just, again, I'll reiterate, this is from my perspective as given my astrological chart and my alignment, my astrological composition. I found certain transits to be more exciting. So you guys remember that Venus, air energy, Libra, so much air. Yeah. But anyways, so as we have this Venus in Scorpio now getting stronger here in Scorpio, yeah, it's balancing stuff out a little bit, I feel, because we've had a lot of air energy, we've had a lot of, okay, fine, earth, air, Virgo's on the axis of air and earth, with the Virgo season and the Mars that was in Virgo and all of that. So it's been really kind of very air, earth, especially with Libra. Libra's also an air sign, but it is ruled by Venus, which is also kind of like air, earth. So we've had a lot of air, earth. And we had a period of air with all that Venus, the Virgo energies. Let's clear the ground, yeah. So now we're going to start segueing into more Scorpio frequencies, which is water energy, but it rides on the axis of fire and water, given that Scorpio is ruled by Mars, fire planet of Aries, and Pluto, which is water planet. Technically, Pluto's kind of its own beast, though. Yeah, it's kind of like that really intense energy. Water, we could say from the standpoint of Neptune, is more, it's very fluid. Scorpio is a fixed water energy, so. But anyways, to get back to it, tangents all around. To get back to it, this is a period where You know, now we've got the Venus and the Scorpio energy coming through. But here's the thing, like Mercury right now in retro, first things first, whenever a planet goes retro, it's going to accent, it's going to accentuate, it's going to bring up and out that energy. So this is also to say in your personal birth chart, if you have a planet in a retrograde motion in your birth chart, it's not that that energy is not powerful. That is the grand illusion, is that it is like weak or like whatnot. It is not weak. It is not weak. It is, if anything, actually more accented in some sense. It is more. I can't get over the backdrop. This is so weird. It's like morning talk show host and yeah. So okay, but anyway. I just had such a weird vision. What if we had like the video talking, like, or I timed it, and that would be weird. But anyways, all right, moving on. Move along now, Nat. I'll never forget Pumpkinhead. Who was that? Pumpkinhead was in one of those lives. She was like sweeping the reputation of a certain boy, like trying to like change his subject. All right, Nat, we got it. All right, let's go around. Anyways, but going back to it. Listen, I'm a Pisces. All right. You can, but more of this coming on the way. That's weird behavior. Strange, okay. But back to it, let's clear the energy and ground. Yeah, so, you know, this, if anything, is more accented. A planet in retrograde in the birth chart is, if anything, more accented. It is time release, though. The energies it can be, the energy associated with that planetary archetype. Let's say, you know, your name is Sally Sue and you were born in, you know, Tennessee, and you got a retro Jupiter in your birth chart, retrograde Jupiter, you know, doesn't mean that that energy is nowhere in sight. It's that it's actually, it's to be possibly realized through time and in a very particular way. So retrograde planets also can signify past life energies, always depending on, you know, what belief you subscribe to. If you, you know, and astrology within itself has so many cohorts of you know, even, you know, sort of like perspectives and philosophies. So many people can interpret like different aspects in different ways, and that's where your personal relationship with astrology comes through, definitely. But and so yeah, but in a general sense, you know, if you do believe in karmic astrology, and specifically from the perspective of aspects alluding to energies that have been built through past lives and past lifetimes, then a retrograde planet can really speak of, you know, a connection as well to past lives. And so it could be an energy that you really, you know, it's intentional, okay? And that's where we're looking more at astrology from the perspective of like, you know, something karmic, and well, what is my life path purpose? Not just like, I'm a sun sign Aries, like who do I, you know, really get along with? Let's flip through this book. Or what's the app co-star like Love and Light? But it's just so limiting. Like, what is really astrology, you know? And really, if you want to ask yourself, you have to look at yourself, right? In your birth chart, when we're asking those questions, like, who am I compatible with? You know, what is it that, you know, this is such a Libra, such a Libra vibe video. I feel like I'm on a talk show. This has gone weird, but okay. Two of me. Me and me. Me, myself, and where's I? Maybe... You see me in the mirror back there. Anywho, so yeah, but retrograde planets in the birth chart, if they are naturally retrograde in the birth chart, they may also signify that you may benefit from, you know, paying greater mind to that part of the birth chart, giving greater attention to that archetype, and yeah, and ultimately, it's kind of like the yod. This is what I'm hearing here. It's similar to the yod in that, you know, you will make of it what you make of it. You personally make of it. There is a story with every placement, and with the retrograde, it's something that you understand over time. So it's kind of interesting. If you have a retrograde, it might signify that you have a very unique sort of storytelling space in relation to that planet. And so how many of you do have a retrograde in your birth chart? 5 planets, more retrograde, that's very rare. Relatively, you want to really look into that. If you do have that, if you feel guided to look into that, we're not buffering, right? Let's clear it. Are we just creeped out? We're just creeped out and not chatting. One of her is enough. I don't understand why we have her in the background. Well. Alchemy up front. Alchemy up front. and in the backdrop. Oh, you're waking up, yeah. So, but anyways, getting back to it, even if you've got like 2 planets retrograde in the birth chart, it is rather, it's rather, I'm hearing it in this way, intentional. Like, you want to look into that if you feel guided. There's a reason for everything. But, now, what else? Yeah, so, well, right now, we've got it's a weird few hours, because Mercury in retro in Libra, which is ruled by Venus, which Mercury is also experienced, and Venus is in Scorpio, which is weird energy kind of for Libra. Like, they got different agendas, and we talk about that in another video. Pluto's about extremes, and Venus is about, Libra is about balance. Venus is in Scorpio, getting stronger in Scorpio, so Scorpio as a voice, okay, is getting stronger. It was like a Pac-Man energy. Scorpio's getting stronger, its voice is becoming higher and stronger and louder. Well, you know, and meanwhile, filtering through the lens on the archetype of Venus, okay, which again, it's almost as if you imagine 2, you know, diplomats that have to work with one another. They go to a country and they have to have a certain conversation unanimously. It's Venus and it's Scorpio. And hopefully this is helpful or interesting the way that I'm describing this. But basically they have a conversation. This might help you understand greater what are the points of transits, what are the points of aspects, what's going on there. You know, when we're working with these particular astrological configurations through time, what is actually happening there? Why is this important? It's not just like, you know, one moment as well. It's a conversation that expands and it is extrapolated over time. It's like a luggage we open up. So we started with Venus entering into Scorpio, 0 degrees, okay, but as over time it gets stronger, let's clear it around. Venus is still holding its capacity for conversation. It's still holding its conversation, its intention, which is to bring balance, right? Venus is to bring harmony, balance. So Venus, right, sort of then moving through with Scorpio. Scorpio, though, it's interesting when it's moving through the sign, because the sign gets stronger over time, right? We go from 0 degrees to 30 degrees. So Scorpio has its own agenda as well, and it's starting to get more and more and more and more and more confident, and it's standing on stage through the lens of Venus. So yeah, I don't know what we're doing here, but like, can't be weirder than what we're doing back there. But yeah, right? So to say it in this way, you know, it's kind of like, again, if you literally imagine it as 2 people on a stage, Scorpio is getting more intense, and so, you know, it's interesting. But here's the thing. There's a meaning for everything, and it's all sort of important, right? We experience these different cycles for reasons, and they bring different perspectives. They bring different perceptions. And so, but yeah, like different ways we can also ultimately introspect on our own character. So let's clear the ground, yeah. And if you're having a particularly troubling time at a certain period astrologically, it might be really helpful. Like, look at your birth chart and say, well, what is it? What is this energy? Well, how am I channeling it personally myself? Anyways, Mercury retro in Libra, while Mercury faces a square. Furthermore, we were just talking about Mercury in Libra and the ruler of Libra being in Scorpio, right? Which is ruled by Pluto and Mars naturally. Now it's like, take a step further. Mercury is in Libra and it's actually facing a square by Pluto to be coming through exact on the 1st of October. So this is going to get really, it may get turbulent. Yes, a heads up, it may get turbulent. Doesn't have to. That's where you have discretion. You decide, do I want to get involved in this conversation? Am I in alignment with this space? Do I need to have this conversation with me and me first, even? Or is it not worth my time to entertain here in this moment? You know, so that's where you have to come down to it as well. Say, well, what's my personal prerogative here? What are my values? Because people might be in a space of wanting to, like, you know, kind of say, well, oh no, it's not really like that, and like, blah, blah. It's like, you know, where are we not really open to debate what it is that we know for ourselves as well? Like, and this is going to bring energies up from the past. This is definitely a very karmic time, especially with the North Node and the South Node, and you know, we've been facing a lot of interesting transits as well, hitting on the South Node or the North Node. So overall, this is a super karmic time, especially with even retros. Again, right? It is also karmic with the retros. It's, yeah, all right, in a sense of saying, let's look at the last time those planets went retrograde. There are generational planets. But really, we're talking lifetimes as well when the generational planets are going retrograde. So let's clear it around. This is a time where we're bringing up a lot here. But specifically, okay, this is a unique point in history. We're looking at so-called history. What is time and space? We're looking at about, especially the beginning of 2021, when we moved into the age of Aquarius. Right now we're experiencing the transits of retro that will overlap, go back to that point back then. What happened back there? What went down? This is going to be coming up. Now, let's clear it. Yeah, this is going to be coming up and brought out. But yes. And so the way that you want to interact in this space, though, is where, when, and how you realize your story is most relevant for you. So we're also shuffling. I see it in this sense. We're moving in and out of place. We're making decisions that are right for us on an energetic level as well. What makes sense for us? And that could be subtle, right? It's not really like, all right, I'm going to go and vlog about this. I'm going to write a blog post about this. I'm going to, I'm hearing, print it out for the tabloids. This is you on an energy plane with yourself and say, very subtle movements and changes. What do I really want to manifest here? Okay, you know what? I don't feel like moving in that direction. I'm just not going to entertain it. And so at this time, to say it as well in this way, people are going to be looking back on their decisions. They're going to be looking back. And the Warning to Lightworker videos may really be speaking as well at this time here. What is it that is really relevant to us? I'm seeing a guy walking by with a purple shirt, checkered purple and white shirt. There could be a particular message for some. You take it as you will. There's something that we realize we don't really maybe want to get involved in, period. And you have the right to call it out and say, I just don't even see myself at all in this space. And if somebody comes through and wants to negotiate you on that's where you know that even further, not that they're, oh my God, look at them, what they're doing, they're a bad person, yada yada, no. But it's a test for me to know for certain. They're helping make it clear that this is totally not where I want to be at. And you have the right to step out of a conversation. Nobody should force you, right? Never. Let's clear it. And let's I'm feeling activate the crown chakra. Down the left, right forearm, there is something that you realize you do want to manifest. Interesting, possibly as well. At a certain point, maybe this is a realization you're having, but it's not really where you want to talk about it yet. So maybe this is you with yourself. At a certain point, you say, where am I going to feel like I can really express what I want? And maybe it's not now. Maybe the context isn't. If you're making an important decision, don't feel rushed. And especially during a retrograde of Mercury, right? Let's clear the energy around you. Definitely during a retrograde of Mercury. It's not a great time to be making decisions that you're rushing through, that, you're feeling uncomfortable with. I just wouldn't. And I know it sometimes can feel really frustrating or hard. It's well, I can't imagine what could go wrong here. I really just want this new cell phone. Really I shouldn't get it, honestly. Or even I just met someone, I want to go on a date with them, they seem perfect. It's really, I shouldn't. It's well, you're gonna make your decisions, but there is a very interesting storyline with Mercury retrograde. Let's clear it. Yeah, that we may understand, but from a different vantage point at a different time. And it's very interesting. But again, you make your decisions. Don't do things if in your heart you feel I want to do this during Mercury retrograde, by all means, you go for it, because it's your decision, right? You do what you feel. It is, you follow your intuition. And because sometimes that's the lesson as well, right? Okay, let's get real. If I hadn't made certain decisions during Mercury retrograde, at certain points in time, I would not have anywhere close to the experience and foresight that I have now. I see Mercury retrograde the way that I see it now because of what I've experienced over time with Mercury retrograde. I can say that, so, and that's what I'm saying here, from my experience, but yeah, and that's where you say, well, if I feel I don't really want to make this decision anyways, and this is confirmation for me, great. Okay, and even if I make a decision, is anything really bad? Okay, things can come up and it's not necessarily bad, but you're going to grow and you're going to learn, right? So that's where you have to consult yourself always. No matter what an astrologer tells you, no matter what the most psychic mediums tells you, you have to make that decision to align with a certain space or not, and to understand ultimately what is being told out there. And you're a sovereign being, and it's an illusion. Oh, they said I'm just going to follow them, and it's going to... No, you got to make your decision. And when you do move forward in any direction, you make your decision, right? That's your decision. So nobody can make you do anything, in a sense. And even if, it's a contract, if you feel like you want to get out of something, Okay, well, a few messages coming here. If you want to get out, or if you want to move into a contract space during Mercury retrograde, typically they say that if it's something totally new, it's not, yeah, it's just, okay, let's, like, do it in layers. Like, overarching premises is that Mercury retrograde brings things up for review from the past that would be helpful to take another look at, to refine, and to reflect, okay, and to reimagine. Ultimately, it's kind of like a new moon energy, okay, and so yeah, it's a time where we're in the passive state. We're inviting the observation of what we maybe have already created, already manifested. And so Mercury retrograde actually be a really lovely time for those who are not fighting the process of needing to manifest things in a very specific way. And I know some people, they get very frustrated. They're like, oh man, it's Mercury retrograde. Like, I just want to keep like going, like the Energizer Bunny, you know. But it is a lovely time. It's like the seasons. We have to take breaks, right, from summer to spring to fall, and we need to kind of be open to what we can reimagine in this space. And fight me on this, but in usually, okay, at the end of Mercury retrogrades, you're usually way more grounded with certain concepts and themes where you say, in retrospect, I'm so grateful that I had this time to reimagine this part of my life. And so, yeah, but it just feels weird. It just feels weird because it's like, you know, you go from like, oh my god, like I feel like I'm moving forward, like, and it's all working out, and then all of a sudden Mercury retrograde hits and you're like, what? And so, yeah, but that's where it's helpful to look at the pre-shadow retrograde as well, because that gives you time. Okay, it's not like you're just like all of a sudden on the airplane and you're just like 100 feet up in the air already. You know, you have to take off, you get onto the plane, you find your seat, you sit down. That's the pre-shadow retrograde. So that's where it's helpful to be aware of these cycles as well in advance, but you always take it as you will. Always do what you do. Hello from Italy. Wow. Hi, Anna Razza. So, what else? Yeah. Now that we're officially in retrograde with Mercury, it's gonna get interesting. Why? Because also, yet again, like, I mentioned this in other videos, like, I feel like this retro is just gonna bring all the fucking bullshit up and out. Okay, it's gonna just blow it out of the water. Because we haven't had a really good dose of Scorpio energy in a hot minute. Right? Think about it. We moved through Leo season, we moved through Aquarius. What was it? The Aquarius full moon. We had those really strong Aquarian energies. Sure, we had the full moon in Pisces, but Pisces has also been experiencing a few things here in retro. So it hasn't been like a real, like, clear, like, you know, sharp shooting kind of energy with Scorpio. It's been kind of like, you know, I don't know. I'm seeing people like hiking up a hill. It's like clunky. It's like we haven't gotten to the overpass yet. I'm hearing it like this. Like we haven't really seen where we want to be moving to yet. And that could be, you know, existentially. It could be obviously energetically, metaphorically, you know, astrally, right? I feel like we're obviously experiencing all of this on an energy plane simultaneous. It's all energy movements with the grid. So as we ascend, this is about ascension, right? In a sense, we're moving energetically. So as a collective, I feel, are not quite there yet, where we are like, oh yeah, I totally understand, like, you know, but we feel it. So that's the Scorpio energy, though, that's going to be coming through, blowing all of the freaking hocus pocus energy out of the conversation entirely. Oh, interesting. Yeah. Well, and it's going to be extreme. I feel it's going to be extreme, but that's where you want to be aware of what you really want to get involved in as a conversation. Maybe it's not worth it to have that conversation with Jim. Okay, but I don't need to figure out why he's calling himself Bob. I'm not curious anymore. Okay, I'm gonna sit back and I'm gonna watch them tell me who they are through time. Let's clear it. Yeah, and so if you think about the archetype of Scorpio, again, Scorpio is squaring Mercury, which is retro in Libra. Okay, Scorpio is a fixed water sign. It is a tempered energy, right? It's usually very patient. It can be. Scorpio is also really a very psychic energy. It is also, you know, it's observant. If we were to describe it in one way, I would say that Scorpio is observant. Yes, let's clear it. And so we're in this mode where we're saying, let's see how people want to tell us who they are, right? Let's sit back, and that's where we don't want to, like, let's say it like that. If you know you're going to get triggered by something, and again, this is my perspective, but you do what you feel, always. If you feel you need to get into a conversation with somebody at a certain time, do that. That's your decision. Yeah, but with this particular period, okay, that's where you have to be really clear on. I believe it's helpful to ask yourself, is this worth it for me? Do I really want to get into this conversation, or am I feeling like I am being am I being almost like triggered? Okay, we don't want to be in reactive mode with Mercury square Pluto. That's where where you have to be aware. Is this person's karma? Is this what they're going through? They're having trouble with? Yeah, and as this morning I was meditating on these astro transits and reflecting on them further, and I was getting this theme of do not let what people feel or think they feel affect you. Okay, and there's going to be a lot of that here coming up. There could be a lot of projections here. A lot of, and again, it's karmic. We're looking back 6 months. We're looking back a year. Okay, Bob didn't like the way that he spread mayonnaise on his sandwich. That's too bad for him. Okay, he wants to come through and say, well, actually, it was actually you. You were kind of saying these things, and they just want to get into a conversation. Let's clear about it, period. That's where you want to scale back and say, do I say that to myself? Oh, I don't believe in that. I don't see myself in that way. Great. I'm not going to entertain the thought even of discussing, okay, the potential that I am something that I don't align with someone just because they want to get into the conversation with me. This is a very maybe abstract message, but you take it as you will. And so you want to ground, and you want to clear, and you want to be really focused. You want to be really, really focused. And so, yes, and so, it's interesting. I feel like things are going to be really, really turning around here. We're going to be in a totally different storyline once come Mercury clearing from the square of Pluto. When Venus steps out of Scorpio, oh shit. That's going to be a major point here of clarity. I think for a lot of people, there are going to be things that come up from the past that are just, it's one of those moments. It's like, okay, like you're watching two people have a conversation. It's like, but you said that, they said that, blah, 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 blah. And then it's like, the Venus clearing from Pluto with the square to Mercury is like a third person coming in and like giving further insights. And that just changed the whole storyline. that just changes the whole picture altogether. Okay, it's something like that. So I feel like as a collective, there are things that we may have not been seeing clearly, but we've been feeling, and especially as a light worker, trust the process. If you feel like, you know what, I don't feel like that's where I want to, get myself involved yet. I don't need to have a reason for that. But everyone's asking me, oh my god, why are you not getting involved with this and with that, and why aren't you doing this and that and that and that and that? It's like, I don't need to explain myself. It's that I just don't feel I don't feel guided. Period. And I'm not, I'm not going to get involved. So, for how many of you is this a theme you've been working with already? For how many of you is this a theme that you've been working on? You feel like you found grounding with, and so it could be just foresight. I found that the messages that come through in Astro talks, sometimes it takes about a week for that theme to come up, and so yeah, that's right around when that's going to be, Mercury squaring Pluto can be right around that time, October 1st. It's just like a foreshadowing here. Just, if you don't want to get into conversation, just be like, ha ha ha, yeah, your joke is funny, and I'm going to step back, and I don't need to laugh like audibly at it, right? I'm hearing that. I don't know what that's one to. Like, this is something very, very silly. Someone wanted to get into a conversation with you about something very silly. It's like, I know that doesn't matter. Why are we talking about that? But, it's to distract you. I'm hearing that as well. And it's not like, he's trying to distract me, but like, they've got entity frequency attachments that, they're not aware of. So that's where you have to be the so-called bigger person and say, they don't realize that this is also not in their higher good. Like, yeah, no. Like, the fact that I am not getting involved is actually better for them as well. Let's clear it. It's better for us both. So it is a vibration thing, as well. And so just be like wise with the decisions that you make, with the conversations you get in about the decisions that you make. You don't really owe anybody an explanation as well, is what I'm hearing. It's a general video, right? We're talking, should be balanced mind, body, soul, but okay, who is your ex in relation to you? I'm seeing here a comment, Leela Prakash says, will my ex come back to, or not? Who is your ex in relation to you? Who are you in relation to your ex? Okay, everything that we are in alignment with is already manifest. So if you are in alignment with something, it's already there. It's right here, right now. If you're not manifesting something, I would really, and this may trigger you, dear Prakash, but I would ask yourself, what do I really want out of the storyline, out of the situation? Because if something is not, and you are wanting it still, you're feeling like you want it, that is an ego attachment. And that is something that, it's a conditional storyline, right? So I would really ask yourself, am I in the flow state? Am I where I want to be at with myself in my life? Let's clear it. Am I manifesting what I want to manifest for myself? Let's clear it. What does your ex represent for you? That is what you feel you need to manifest in order to feel like you have your ex back. Interesting. What is it that you feel you become when you, let's say, remanifest your ex back? How does your story with you change in that space? So yeah, it's an illusion that we need people to feel fulfilled. And I'm just pulling this question out, and maybe this is a message for others as well in the chat or however, let's clear it. You have to really ground yourself, and honestly, sometimes it's not that you want your ex back, it's that your ex wants you to want them back. That's also, yes. So we have to remember as well, and maybe this is related to the Mercury square Pluto, where it's like, hold on, is this what I'm feeling? Is this what I'm feeling? Is that what I want to do? Yeah, we're talking on an energy plane. So you may have a cord attachment. Okay, I would really ask yourself, why, ding, 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 why would I want to be with someone who is not showing up in my life, period? Because remember, if you want something, yeah, so let's clear it. You still there, Prakash? Love and light. You may want to do clearing, grounding exercises. That's a very good way to put it, Melissa. They are an ex for a reason. You put ex. And so, says, I feel him everywhere, but he is not talking to me. Yeah, you got to definitely do some clearing. Clear the aura, clear your energy, identify the cords. You have to identify where the cords are. This is if you are feeling in alignment with clearing, right? Because sometimes we have to hold the cords. If you feel like, well, we don't have to do anything, but that's a message that you hold with your higher self. Okay, maybe that's something that you want to experience, feeling attachment with the cord. But if it's interrupting how you live your life, then that's what I would recommend, to really go in, identify, do some meditative exercises to identify the cord. Okay, really see the cord clearly, point it out to yourself, and then make peace with the energy that you were holding on to in that space. That another was stimulating you to hold on to ultimately as well. It's a two-way road. It's an illusion that, Marcus doesn't talk to me, but I can't stop thinking about Marcus. Oh, please. Okay. That's a huge illusion. The Marcus is definitely, throwing a little hook out, and definitely it's hooked in your aura. So, but that is where you have to be the bigger person. You have to tell yourself, I don't have to react to what people, want of me just because they want something of me. You're a fisher? Be a fisher, great. Okay, but it's up to you to hold your boundaries with your aura so that, you're not just kind of, you have to be aware of who's hooking into your aura. So if you are in a connection that you've cleared from, but it's like, I can't stop thinking about Marcus. It's like, Marcus cannot maybe at a certain point come to terms with what Marcus feels for you, and so they are projecting on you energetically. That's not healthy, guys, right? We don't want Marcus to feel like that's a reality situation and that we're okay with that. Because think about it. If you're not holding boundaries on an energy plane, they feel that. They feel that you haven't put boundaries up, and they feel just how you feel, like you can't stop thinking about them. They feel like they're still connected to you, but they're not coming forward. So in that case, we have to unplug, we have to detach, right? Because it does come down to you feeling grounded. Let's clear the energy. We're not in a state of wanting or needing anything or anyone. If you feel that way, you've got an entity attachment cord, and you have to understand it. You have to clear it, and you have to hold space for it, right? And you have to ultimately heal that energetic relationship to yourself as well. Let's clear it. You have to turn inwards in that space that you felt was a void where that person was hooking in ultimately, because it's a vulnerable space where they are ultimately hooking, and that's why I say you have to understand the cord. So, who is he to you on Raza? Who is he to you? So-called he. It's an entity, right? So what is it that so-and-so resembles to us? Why is it that they are replacing a story of our own that we hold with ourselves, that we tell very clearly to ourselves? Why in any moment would you say, I don't know something in my life and it makes me feel disempowered? Why would we ever do that? We are here in the highest form of love and light. We are here because we are manifest here with purity consciousness of all-knowingness. There's nothing that we lack or that we don't know or that we need. So if someone is resembling something to you as a void, you have to understand, who is that person to me? Why do I understand them from that perspective? Let's clear it around. I would definitely do some meditation exercises, clearing, aura clearing, grounding. And if you're dealing with someone and they may not be ready to clear cords, that's okay. Maybe this is not your energy. I'm talking to the general public now. This is maybe not your energy directly, okay? But maybe you know people, they're in your midst. They have energy cords that they're not willing to see through. They're not willing to clear out. This comes back down to you. It comes back down to you identifying what you feel with you. Even if that person's a really great friend, but they're holding energy spaces, and you cannot make them something that they're not yet willing to be. I'm hearing that as well. Like, you cannot make your friends understand it. Like just how we're talking here, this is not, it's not my karmic obligation to make people understand that. But you do what you do, you say what you can say, but don't get caught up in the drama, because it's like, let's say you got a friend, right? And they're dealing with something really toxic. It's like, I'm sorry, I gotta tell you how it is, for myself at least. Let's clear it. But if you want to debate me on it, that's when I'm out. I'm straight up out. I'm out, baby. I don't need to discuss it on end, like why that's something that's what I would do. Let's clear it. That's why I'm here for that, for my space. In that way, interesting. Showing up for my space in that way. I don't know. Take it as you will. My space. Okay, it could be a particular message. Take it as you will. It could also be something obviously. Let's clear it. Yeah. But in a general sense, it's a matter of you having boundaries in every sort of situation. Period. And I think that when we feel unhappy or ungrounded is when we feel really destabilized and unsatisfied is when we're making sacrifices to that space. Like, okay, I know, but then, oh man, like, Hocus Pocus, like, Junior just popped along, and he wants to have a discussion with me, and I respect him in these ways, but he's really not allowing me to get, grounded in this conversation with my higher self. And then we make that sacrifice. It's when we make the sacrifices to what we know to be true for us. That's when we feel disempowered. That's when when we don't feel, like, happy anymore, we're not sure what's going on, and it's because you let that person in. Let's clear it. When you let them sort of continue to talk to you in a certain way. And sometimes, honestly, it gets to a point that you have to, it's a Pluto energy. And so, Rata says, I want to know about his energy. So if it's to the point where, you're coming into a live chat to ask questions about someone else, right? Where you are absolutely, it's an enigmatic energy, and it's like at all costs, I have to know. Like, let's clear it. What's going on right there, right? So you have to ask yourself, were you born in this lifetime, like, I have to know, like, were you born for whoever this person is? I was born to, like, freaking, no, please. That's where it could be a narcissistic energy, you guys. It could be a narcissistic energy. It's not that, Ratsa, it may not be that you want to know about his energy. Why are you so curious? Does it really matter? Let's clear it. That could be a narcissistic energy attachment. Think about it. Research. Love and light, but research it. Are they a narcissistic energy attachment? Okay? And I'm saying it for your, let's clear it. I'm saying it to help you, right? Sometimes it can be hard. But it's not that person, it's their entity attachments as well that are then attaching to you. So but that's where you have to be willing to see that. Sometimes it's hard. You have to say, all right, he doesn't see it, like, goodbye, I gotta go. You're not anything, Anam Ratsa. You are as you are in every moment. It's how you perceive yourself to be. That's Anam, I'm saying that to Anam, who says, I'm totally broken. You're not anything. It is a perspective. So if you, and this is a great tip, for this, the great tip, if you come into contact with someone, 1 minute you're feeling a certain way, and then you came into contact with them, and then suddenly you start feeling weird, and like, you're feeling totally strange and like a different person, that's a huge clue for you. That person interrupted not who you were to yourself, but how you perceived yourself. They just come through and they interacted with your story from a perspective. From a perspective of influence. So no one changes you. It's an illusion. He took this away from me. No, you let that story come through in the space of perception. So, and it's not that you change. You are always you. It's just a perspective. So that's where you have the power to interrupt that way that you come through to them as well, where you allow them to tell you who you are. Ooh, interesting to you. And that's on a subtle wavelength. It's not like, oh my God, yeah, he came through and he said that directly. Not necessarily. They may not even know they got the attachment, you guys. That's what I'm talking about. They don't necessarily know. Let's clear it. But that's where energy is so important. And it's not about having the conversation. It's not about trying to prove them wrong or right, however, blah, blah, in the conversation. It's the energy. And that's where, yes, and that you have to be sold and grounded on your storyline with yourself vibrationally. That's where you have to be meditating. You have to be really, really holding the space. And that's where you'll be able to tell even more clearly immediately when something does not resonate with you. And you just step right out. If you're doing something that doesn't make you feel good, if there is something that makes you feel anything but completely empowered, ask yourself who you are to you in that space. Because that doesn't change. That doesn't change. That doesn't change. You are you at all moments in time. Okay? So nobody should have such an influence on you to the point where they make you feel a different way about yourself, right? About the way that you see yourself. It's not just saying, man, you know what a shame, like I let that person tell me who I was. No, that's also an experience. No, it's not something bad. Man, I feel bad now, I let them do that. Let's clear. No. That can happen to anybody. That's how we become stronger, how we realize more deeply our experience with our higher self here in this plane. Interestingly, we go back to who we are in the original form through time, through experiences that test our spirituality, hence Dark Night of the Soul. Really? Can we come through and say, wow, that's a bad thing? No way. Listen, you guys, I would not have started this channel, this YouTube, yes, hello. I would not have started this YouTube channel if I had not experienced the Dark Night of the Soul. I am feeling more connected to who I am on a broader energy plane because of what I experienced in testing that space on the 3D plane here, physically, in perspective. Are you kidding? Yeah, I've had so many experiences. But specifically, yeah, I had one very intense experience that brought me to really realize and question, okay, why would I question that space to begin with? And then you start to realize, wow, well, what is that space? Aha, let's clear it. Dark Night of the Soul allows you to see where you may have taken your understanding of the relationship you have with your higher self for granted, or where you have not understood it fully. Let's clear it. So it's a blessing in disguise. Sometimes we don't want to get out of toxic situations because we feel it's a bad thing, that it was a bad thing that we were in that space. No, it's a moment of shadow work where you come through further than you were before you started. Nothing breaks you. It empowers you. Because you never change. It's just your perspective, and that's why we're even here on 3D, because we are accumulating perspective, experience perspective around the conversation that is a constant, that is unchanging. So it's an illusion that anything changes. Let's clear it and ground. It's about reinforcing what it is that has always been. So we cannot be afraid of having certain experiences, releasing things that we realize don't empower us, releasing certain conversations that we realize we don't align with, releasing. Let's ask ourselves, if I know something is so fucking toxic, and it could be that they're not even physically there, what is it that I fear letting go of that space for? Why would I fear doing shadow work, ultimately? Trace it down. Let's clear it around. Let's say, yeah, that's where it really comes back to you. It's not about that person. If someone's not talking to you and it's really irritating you, you just answer your own question right there. This experience is irritating you right now, so why are you still observing it as something that is worth your perspective in your reality? Why is it in your reality, right? So why in that moment would you not say, well, I'm gonna just drop it all together? No, it's a real question, you guys. Trace it. Okay, I'm gonna stop thinking about like Julio. Okay. But what is the feeling of fear in that moment when you think that you're gonna stop, you're gonna release something that's not working for you? Pressure in the third chakra there. Let's clear it around the third eye as well. The question is, who am I? If you're answering that question, who am I to myself when I release who I wanted that person to be to me? It is eternally, it is always about coming back into the self. Let's clear it around. It is the healing of the shadow of the realization that we don't need someone to fill our void. And I feel like it's a passive energy when we feel like we need someone and they're not showing up. If you want to be passive, be passive. You want to be passive? Let's clear it on the right side of the body. Let's clear it around. Do we want to be passive? Or do we want to be empowered? Think about it. Doesn't empowering, energy feel so much better than feeling disempowered? And feeling like we need someone or need something? This is very different vibrations, right, you guys? So why on earth would we ever feel like we wouldn't want to pursue empowerment, right? So that's where you have to ask yourself, what is the factor that makes me feel like I don't want to feel empowered? Ooh. Wow, let's clear it. Interesting themes here coming through. It's just a decision, you guys. That's where we say, yeah, that's where we have to say, what do I want to experience? It's not about what someone makes you feel, it's about what you're willing to feel. Are you willing to feel empowered? Come on now, it's not about Bob who won't respond to your text messages, it's about you and the relationship that you have that's already there with you. You know? Why would someone come in and rediscuss that with us in some capacity? Let's clear it. And everybody is just a teacher here. It's an illusion, you guys. People are not people. They're representing characters that we have or do not have conversation with ourselves. Let's clear it. I want to do an example. And I'm willing to bet you, who is this Ratza who's going look at your birth chart. Have you done sinistry? You should definitely do sinistry. Anyone who you feel, I can't forget about this person, for number one, sinistry. First of all, it's not that person. It's like this is a conversation that's coming up. So we can't look at that person only. We cannot, we have to also look at the conversation. Look at people and relationships as conversations. Let's clear it. The person is your trigger point. The person comes up and represents the conversation for you, but it doesn't end at that person. Otherwise, it's like, holding the postman hostage and saying, wait, you just delivered that message. I need to talk to you about it. No, the postman's just a deliverer, guys. Let's clear it and ground. Don't keep the postman hostage. Let him go on his way. What's the letter say? What is the conversation? What is the message here really, truly that is sent to me from me? You wouldn't experience anything in reality if you did not, at a certain point in time, invite that storyline in. Let's clear it and ground. So let's say it like this. Yes, now look at it as a conversation. Okay, great. Say, thank you, Bob. Bob, let's say Bob came in, he rocked our world. Could you rock my world? That's on Michael Jackson. He rocked our world and then he slipped off the radar. Okay, thank you, Bob. Thank you, Bob. That was a message. That was a message you delivered. Now, I'm gonna dispatch it. You're on your way. Goodbye. No, don't come back. No, go. I need to understand why it is that I invited this experience into my reality here. What it was that I wanted to learn. Okay, because obviously it's happening for a reason. Nothing is random. If somebody's coming through in your reality, there's a reason for that. It's an illusion that it's just about that person. It's not. So we say, thank you, Bob. Peace out, bro. I'm gonna now do sinistry. You guys, seriously. That's going to be your ticket. That's how you go from step A to B, step 1 to 2. Now let me look at my sinistry. What did Bob bring forth as a conversation for me astrologically? You want to look at their birth chart, first of all. Because again, it's not about Bob. Bob is the message of the relationship with ourselves. Let's give an example. Let's say Bob is a Scorpio. He's got 5, 6 planets in Scorpio. Let's make it just so simple. Okay? Fuck. That would be not, a conversation with you and Bob, but like, the archetype is Scorpio. Yes. And that's where it's like, no, I don't want to talk about the Scorpio with myself. You guys, that's where you have to be brave. It's not about you and Bob. It's about you and you and Scorpio with you. Let's say Bob has 5 planets in Libra. Let's forget the Scorpio. It's about Libra. That's where you have to flip it. When people are not willing to get over people, that's where we're not willing to do the shadow work. That's why I say it's passive. Because we are afraid of addressing the message that Bob delivered for ourselves with us. Look at your own birth chart. And honestly, it could be something that you never even realized. You had a story with that you needed to discover, and that's where sometimes you say, well, I was doing great before Bob came along and he rocked my world and then he ghosted me, or whatever, whatever it is. If that conversation happened, you invited that in a certain sense into your reality, and it was a lesson that you told your higher self, I want to experience. If it was not a conversation that you could not have with yourself, okay, again, I want to reiterate, it's an illusion that it's a conversation you need to have with Bob. It is a conversation that you told yourself you need to have with yourself. Otherwise, you would not have manifested that. Everything, as above, so below. If you were to have that conversation with Bob, you were to have that conversation with yourself. Especially for those of you who feel this is a twin flame situation. Okay, the illusion is that you need that person to resolve that conversation. Think about it. Twin flame, what is that? Reflective, right? Parallelism. If you can resolve it with Bob, you can resolve it with you. And you need to resolve it with you because you invited that storyline into your reality, right? So, to get back to it, have gratitude for Bob. Appreciate Bob as the messenger. Okay? And then you come back to you. And the only way you're going to find peace and healing with that conversation is in addressing that story with yourself. Because think about it. Let's just take a minute here and think about it. If Bob... Let's just think about it. Let's clear it and ground. I'm hearing Monty Python Bob. Let's say that he, did come through and he did give you the opportunity to make peace with him and blah, 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 blah. Can you imagine how dependent you would then feel in that space? Then that would create a codependent reality conversation where Bob gave you the happiness. Bob gave you the happiness. Bob was the be-all, end-all. It was a blessing in disguise that Bob gave you the opportunity to find that empowerment with yourself. Let's clear it and ground. Don't we always... Yeah, no, it was a gift. That Bob gave you the opportunity to remanifest your story with yourself first. And think of it like this. When you heal yourself with yourself, if at that point where you hit that vibration, Bob comes along, then it's meant to be. Then he is mirroring back your healed storyline. Your healed you. Not because you're broken, but because you reimagined your perception of yourself, which is the unity consciousness space. So, Bob is a gift. Okay. And so we say thank you to those challenges, those experiences, the messengers of life, okay, that bring us to understand. So it's not about I need to know what's what. That's like wanting to cheat on the test, right? That's being passive. It's not wanting to do the shadow work, not getting deeper into ourselves. Okay? That's like going to class, literally going to class, finding a soulmate that you resonate with. It's like humpty-dump, I'm going to school, I'm going to class. It's like you register for school, you show up at school, and the teacher shows up, and then you want to leave. It's like that's what needing an answer for certain really challenging experiences is. Instead of turning on it and saying, hey, the minute you feel something is not flowing, the minute you feel something is dissonant, the minute that you feel something is just not happening, okay? That's an excellent clue for you that your lesson has begun with you. Now I turn and I say, thank you, Bob, again. I want to appreciate the role that you have played in my life for bringing me closer to how I see my empowerment of self. Not how I am empowered, it's not that you disempowered me, it's how I see my empowerment. I will always be empowered, but there will be people who come into my life that encourage me to see that empowerment in different ways, from different angles. That's the gift. That's where Bob comes through and says, look at it from the Scorpio angle, look at it from the Scorpio lens. Again, hence, why was it that right before I met Bob, a minute before I met Bob, I was so empowered, I was feeling great. And then all of a sudden Bob came through, and then I felt really weird. What happened there? That's your clue. Let's clear it. What happened? Why, of all people, did Bob affect me in that way? That's where it did not affect you. It affected your influence, your perspective. That's where your ticket there is looking at Bob's birth chart, look at what he's bringing up astrologically and saying, oh, I see it now. Because it's all energy, guys. It's you, and Bob comes through your energy, Bob's energy. We get really weird about things when we're trying to focus too much in the logical mind. We're too much in the air energy. Let's clear it. When we're too much in the logical mind, trying to understand Bob as a human 3D person. No. If you are experiencing a challenging soulmate energy, twin flame, yada yada, whatever it is, okay? Whatever it is. Okay. The number one thing you want to understand is energy from an energetic standpoint. And number two, that's where we're not going to have resentment as well. No, there's a reason for everything. If somebody comes into your life, there was a reason for that, right? Yet again. And number two is astrology. Look at astrology. That's like the ticket as to what energy was dispatched, what Bob actually delivered. That will be your storyline of the messenger of what? Bob, it doesn't just end with Bob. It doesn't begin and just end with Bob. It's what Bob communicated as a messenger. You have to open his letter, his package. Okay? So there's no point in taking like the postman by the neck and shaking him like, oh, okay? Why don't you love me like the right way, in this way, like the way that you need to love me? Like, what is that? Bob is the messenger. Bob said, thank you, Bob. And let me see what's in the message now. That's where you look to astrology, you look to your sinistry, you look to Bob as an archetype of energy, ultimately. Yes. So it's an illusion that we're going to manifest by making sense of things and understanding things and, even getting a tarot reading and having certain answers. That's not where it's at, guys. It's about the energetic transcendence, right? Feeling your way through the process of understanding what is delivered as a message that you are to ultimately reconnect with in your relationship with yourself, with your higher self. So if somebody does come through, okay, let's clear it in ground. It's about the process and not the destination. And the more that you're focused on the destination, that's a huge, huge clue. That's a huge tip for you that you're not in understanding, okay, of how you relate to that space emotionally. Interesting. Frequentially. Emotion holds vibration. So sometimes you feel, but I feel like all these really intense emotions, but that is also a message of what it is that is coming up. But in order to be remobilized, to be able to carry that out in a process of understanding and finding transcendence, how is it that I have a conversation with myself that I am understanding more? So yes, let's clear it. And definitely, how is it that this experience is re-strengthening, fortifying my story with myself? So yeah, let's clear it. It's about healing. It's about healing, and it's never going to be about an answer. The more we try to understand it, like it's gonna repel any healing in that space, which is what the point is. Like, I want to do it visually here. Let's say you meet someone, right? And then they move away. It's an illusion that it's about this. Okay? That right there is an illusion. Okay? It's about this. So let's say it like this. Let's say this is you. In your story. Okay, the soulmates we meet, it's a magnetism energy, right? Some people we feel very strongly. Sometimes we feel people come into our space and they take a part of us with them. Sometimes. But it's not that they take or that they give anything, it's that they reflect. People are just different refractions of light. Some people we feel very strong soulmate connections with, that's a whole other discussion that we'll talk about that as Akashic records as well. There's something, you know, obviously this past life energy is well being reflected. It's like, well, oh, he had a few keys to my heart there. Wow. Well, there's a focus on that. It doesn't mean that they have your heart. It doesn't mean that they know who you are indefinitely to you and that you would give them the enough power for you to reimagine yourself in that space. Never is it that somebody would replace your relationship with yourself, but they may reflect more of you to you. Let's clear it. So let's say someone comes in, right? Let's say this is a very strong connection. This is someone who you felt touch you at your core. Okay? This is you. In you, in the orbit of you. This is you in your life, okay? Insulated in your life, and then someone comes through and they really touch you as you feel it. Let's say that then this is Bob and he steps back now. Okay, and it's an illusion that you need to go like this. Okay? Because listen, it's an illusion that Bob took any part of you with him. Okay, he just came in and he kind of like he touched a part of you, but that is still you. Like, if someone hits a button, right? Do they take the button with them? That's like taking the pump from the gas station along with you when you leave the gas station. You don't do that, right? Yeah, you guys? Okay, look. So look, here comes Bob. He just hit a button, you guys. Okay? He hit a button like it's like something like pops out. Like, let's say a button that you press. It's really the gas pump. It's like you push it and then it pops out. So Bob came through and like just kind of touched something here and it pops out. It's an illusion that now you need to like go find Bob. It's like that shit's not, no. And the more we're doing that, it's like, wait, what? You guys. Let's clear it, bro. Yeah, guys. He just hit a button, bro. You're still here, though. And maybe there's just something here that, you know, you want to talk about more with yourself. You know, it's something that was brought forth, illuminated. Okay. And so we thank Bob. We say, Bob, wow, bro. You came through and you literally had... okay, enough reflection in you to reflect this part of me to stimulate me to have this conversation with myself, to bring illumination to that part of my empowerment. Let's clear it. So Bob is a shadow worker of inspiring you to address your shadow. Now, what's so bad about that? Why on earth would we have animosity towards Bob for that? Unless we are in the Pluto, the ego, the who the fuck is Bob? Who's Bob? Why did he do? You know, that in love and light. That's the dark night of the soul energy. It can be. That's where we overly identify our own shadow storyline, our own shadow experience, or shadow healing process with someone else. They just reflected, guys. They just reflected. That's like saying, how did the postman have my address to deliver such a message to me? It's like, he's a postman. That's where we say, you know, in past lives, we decided on having these soul contracts with certain people. Okay? And, you know, yeah, so now, the more that we understand what did Bob touch, what did Bob press as a button, and it's not about the transition of that space, but the reimagining of that space. Okay? The perceiving of that space. If you imagine yourself, yeah, so it's like, you know, understanding the chords. And it really is kind of like a song even, with different notes in it, right? Someone comes through and points out, you know, it's a matter of understanding, though, still understanding your song is your song. Nobody changes the way that you sing your song. But and even if you allow someone to make you feel disempowered, that's still your song. That is still, you know, I know that may be triggering. It's like, yeah, no, he made me feel this way. No. You are always you. And it is what you give another the perceived power to allow you to feel. And why would we ever do that? Right? that comes back to shadow work. Why would I want Bob to answer this for me? It's about me. Why would I want Bob to read the letter that he just delivered me? It's for me. It's for me, for me. Unless, are we lazy? Are we getting lazy with our shadow work? That's why I don't buy it. I don't buy it with the whole, but I've had my own experience. We all have these shadow experiences, and it's just like a movie, guys. It's like a dream. It's a dream state. We know it's not real. Fuck, come on. It's all we freaking know. It's not really about Bob. Did we reincarnate to just for Bob? No. Did we reincarnate to have this one moment with Bob? No. And even if Bob came back and gave us everything that we so-called wanted, would we respect Bob? Come on, man. Come on. Love and light. It's just a hard teacher. So sometimes the harder the experiences, the more intense, okay, the lesson. And the more intensely Bob is shining a light on that very particular part of your shadow with you. That's where we say we have so much gratitude for the soulmates that give us the opportunity to heal these parts of ourselves that are possibly so deep. Let's clear it. Let's clear it. And then at the end, you know, you say, wow, I didn't know I had that shadow side. Wow. I didn't know I had that shadow, that weak spot of my perspective. Nothing's changed. It's just how I perceive it. Now how I perceive it. And so it's an illusion that you just go back. It's that it's for the sake of empowering and re-strengthening the overall perspective. Wow, I feel so much more empowered in the way that I perceive myself after that experience. So Brad is a trainer ultimately. He's helping train you. They're helping train you on. It's like a coach. It's like a coach helping train you on how it is that you perceive. And it's an illusion that at the end of that really hard workout that you're going to be more weak. No, no, no. It's your perspective that's going to become even stronger. Thank you for your donation. Mimi, love and light to you. Wow. Thank you for your donation. Thank you for tuning in. So it's about commitment to your story, and that's why, you know, I've stopped doing the private readings, and really, I don't really like to focus on matters of love and these things, especially in private readings, because it's not up to you to define if that person is ready to hear the messages as well that are true. Okay, if they're still in like, you know, Cheez-It mode, I just want the Cheez-Its. Then they're not going to be willing to, and that's also where maybe with your friends, you have to come through and let's clear it. Yeah, it's like I cannot make you ready to do your shadow work. I cannot make you ready to do that. If you're still in Cheez-It mode, you're wanting the cheese, you know, as a mouth, then that's your story. Let's clear it right now. So you cannot make people ready to do the experience, to have the experience, and to do the work that is related to shadow work. You cannot, yeah. So you cannot force people to want empowerment as well. Sometimes people want to feel down in the dumps, so called. Sometimes they, yeah, but it's not because it's their choice, and it's not that they are down in the dumps. It's that they are, yeah. Let's clear it. They are perceiving it as that. But sometimes that's also necessary. I had to go through the dark night of the soul. I had to feel totally, yeah. I was completely ghosted by someone who I felt I had a very strong connection with at a certain point, where there was just at least a very intense energy. And a lot of that was attachment on an entity level, courting energies. Let's clear it and round. But that was helpful ultimately because it brought me to the point of realize I don't fucking need this. I don't need this. Whether it's confirmation or not confirmation, whether it's, oh my god, they're making me feel really good or they're making me feel really shitty, either way I don't need it, not because I'm stepping away from it and I'm deciding I don't need it, but because I've never needed it. And I realize that it's not about needing it or not needing it. It's not about understanding it within the context of me. It is about understanding me within the context of me and how this person has stimulated a part of that journey of perceiving it. So just from different lenses and angles and points. So I would definitely, yeah, in perceptions, I would definitely do sinistry. Look at that person's chart. Definitely look at your aspects. That's just like a freaking given clue, you guys. Let's clear it around. Imagine if you didn't have astrology. That would be fucking hard. But we have the gift of astrology. Like, it's literally the syllabus. Literally. It's like, so Bob's gonna come in. He's gonna do some hocus pocus with, you know, he's gonna be pressing these little like charms and chimes and buttons. No fucking for real. He's gonna come into like the maze of like you and who you think you are and like, he's like hitting wind chimes. It's clearing the ground. And that's where you say, it's again, I cannot think of it as Bob and Bob and Bob, but I need to think of it as, what is Bob hitting? What is the music he's playing? What is he accentuating? What is he accenting on when it comes to my relationship with me? So close your eyes. Shut the mind down. Take the person outside of the person and feel where Bob is taking you within you. Wow, interesting. Yes. Try to hear and feel ultimately what the inner child is asking of you to take a deeper look at. And so it's about your memory as well. And so that comes back to feeling ready to do the past life energy work, the healing, the karmic work, shadow work, the Akashic record work. Sometimes, yes, and we have to be at a certain vibrational level to really get into that. So, you know, do not fight people if you're a reader or an energy healer and you got clients. That's fine. Let them step back. They're not ready. They're not ready. Don't get personal. Don't take it personally. Sometimes that's hard because we also find healing with ourselves, and then we have a client come along. We really want to help them. We see it for them. We really want to help them, but then it's like, I don't reattach into their outcome. You know, let's clear. It's like, no, bro, you're on your gondola. You want to row it. You choose to see Rome. You choose to see Rome on the map and your potential to in it and to do it with that person that way. You see the potential in yourself with yourself. Do you see the potential of what could be, of where you could? Yeah. It's not gonna be related to me though. And so what your clients choose to do, what others, and just in a general way, what the unity consciousness space decides to do is not you, it's not related to you. And that could be indirectly, like I have a friend who's like, you know, projecting on me like what they feel about. It's like, so just let it be. Like you don't need to also prove it to them that that's what they're doing. You don't need to prove anything to anybody. Let's clear it. Let's clear it on the right side of the body entirely. You gotta definitely clear cords as well. Definitely keep clearing cords. Okay, you do any energy work with people, or even you hanging out long time with friends, you need to just, you know, really keep it grounded and do root chakra exercises, pranic energy flow. You want to really get in tune with your energy space, your energy field. It's not a psychological thing, it's an energy thing. Like actually feeling the breath and the energy. So, sometimes we interact with people and then we get really like stuck and stagnant in the mind and the psychology. That's where, you know, you may realize like, wow, I just was like feeling really great, and then I had a conversation with so-and-so and now I'm feeling strange. It's like, that could be the perceived, the projected mind energy. Okay, and so it's not that anything has changed, even you with you still feel the way that you feel. It's about recalibrating to the energy space. Okay, and so maybe you talk to someone and they're way too in their mind, and then and then you start feeling like, what's this? Like I was feeling really great with the decision I was making. Now I talked to Hubert, and now Hubert's making me feel like I gotta be a human all over again. Let's clear it. I don't know. Like, yeah. So, and it's, yeah. So it's about, if you have certain discussions, and it's not like, you know, Hubert's gonna ascend when Hubert needs to ascend, but like when you interact with Hubert, go back to you, and you want to do your regenerative exercises that bring you back into your story, into your healing space, into your sanctuary energetically. Okay, healing of the energy membrane with you, and you want to again do clearing, grounding, and even if you don't know what it is or who it is, doing the meditation, doing the clearing, the exercises that ground you will allow you to see more clearly. Oh, you know what? That's a projected energy from Hubert. Or that is, you know what, that's not my energy. That's not what's going on with me. Yeah, you're going to see it more clearly by way of feeling it. And that's clear. And that's why I'm saying that just be wary of the discussions that you're getting involved in or that people want to get you wrapped up in. Because even if it's just like someone wants your perspective, I just want to understand why you feel that way. Sometimes you don't need to explain intuition. So if someone doesn't understand it, let's clear it in the root chakra and the sacral chakra all the way down. Let's clear all the way down the right side of the body. You cannot feel bad as well. We're not in alignment. That's just what it is. We cannot resonate. That's just what it is. let's clear it. And that's where you have to be really, really firm with yourself and say, it's an energy story. The more that I am committed to holding the vibration of all-knowingness and being firm with my intuition, that is what pulls others up. That it's not about discussing it and proving it, and that's the illusion. Because you doing that, okay, is taking you farther from your intuition. Is going to take you farther from what it is that you feel. So, if it's meant for you to talk to that person about that one thing, if it's meant for you to talk about it, the time will come when you feel like you would like to talk about it as well. Where it's natural for you. If anybody's forcing you to have a conversation about something and you're just not feeling it in your heart, just step away. It's not the right time. Come back to it. The most important thing is that you're aligned and you're focused and you're in sync with your energy space. So you see what I'm saying? Don't let the mind take you outside of what you feel emotionally, energetically. Well, I want to know what you're going to do. Like, can you tell me? It's like, I will show you. Let's clear it. You will feel it. And that should be enough. So if somebody else is in a fear space, like, that's on them. That's on them. It's not up to you to get them out of that space. That's on them. Because the minute you throw out the life vest, okay, when they could have gotten on the boat here with you, then you're involved in their journey, and that's going to be draining to you. Because then you're going to be like, come on. It's like, no, they have to decide to ascend or not. Let's clear it. Let's clear the energy around. No, and no. They are not. Yeah, that's where they have to do their shadow work. Don't do it for them, guys. I'm hearing that as well. That's where you have to be real firm. Maybe we have to play the role as a Bob every now and then. And that's where perspective is everything. Because, maybe sometimes we're perceiving that someone's being mean to us and they're doing something bad or doing something wrong. But maybe that wasn't the right thing. That wasn't the best thing. Maybe Sally wants me to explain to her why I don't feel like I should show up on Saturday. Maybe she thinks that's the right thing, but the right thing is for me to not explain what that means. We have to be the bigger so-called people, but from a vibrational standpoint, willing to commit to the highest vibration that we know we can hold, even if we don't know where that goes. We have to be brave in holding space, because if we keep having conversations in the 3D about what we feel intellectually, intuitively, we're going to keep talking in that dialect. What we really want is to have to not talk about it and just be in the, right? Let's clear it. What we really want is to start having a conversation on the energy plane. So be grateful for the people who inspire you, encourage you to do that work with yourself. And also remember to keep committed to that role you play for others as well, where you encourage people, okay, not to feel the need to understand their reality. Oh, interesting. Let's clear it. Let's clear it. Some of you dealing with people who are let's clear it. I don't want to say it's like a narrow-mindedness, but it's like you're getting into like these scientific chats and talks. No. Okay? And then it's like they want you to prove to them and like get into all this like convo shit. No. I'm going to just cut it off right there, because that's outside of my perception of my reality. I do not explain to myself my personal truth. I know who I am to me, and I do not define it based on what makes sense definitely to others, but what makes sense, period. I don't need to prove myself to me. I am a sovereign being, and I have absolute potential to create whatever it is that I like to create in any moment in time that inspires me and others, that holds the golden light, the golden ratio energy. I am everything right now. If you see lack in that, I don't see you. I'm sorry, but goodbye. And that's what we have to say. We have to hold a pillar of light with your story. What that means is hold the vibration. Do not lose your focus because someone doesn't understand themselves, because somebody doesn't understand their story. Keep your focus. It's like what they say when you're driving. Imagine you're on the highway. Okay, someone, God forbid, love and light, they get into an accident on the side of the road. The worst thing you don't want to lose your focus, okay? People make their decisions, and whatever it is, if you feel like people are judging you, and like, oh, but like, explain. You're narrow-minded, you're not willing to ascend, that's okay. If you're not willing, you want to get into a whole philosophical debate or a whole scientific debate, but I'm here philosophical. Let's clear around. If it's going to alter the way that you operate in your reality, if it's going to encourage you to release things that you know to be true for you, if it means you sacrificing aspects of yourself, okay, vibrationally, if it means you getting distracted with what it is that you know to be true, then that is not your story, even in that moment. And you have the right to step out of it and say, I'm absolutely not going to even respond or react. Let's clear the energy and ground on the back, where I'm not going to respond to who you say you are to me as well, because I'm not living based on what you, let's clear it. So this may be a very specific message for some. Let's clear the energy around. I don't need to understand my reality. So this can also be, people coming through, they're making you feel, or they want to have conversations about things that it's like, it's not about that. I don't need to, no. It's not important for me to understand what I already know. Let's clear it. That's maybe a very specific message. Okay? I hold my light, and that's that. So if something is going to derail you, if something is going to make you feel confused or even like triggered, even if you don't need to observe it. Let's clear it. And it could be someone coming through saying, hey, they want to debate who you are with you. Like, I don't know what that's about. It's like, what? You want to debate? They want to debate magic? I don't know what that's like. They're not. Someone who's wanting to understand logically the interaction that you have with you that is on a way higher plane. Let's say like you're riding on a real high vibration, okay? This happens because you are not operating in the mind space. That's where people will come through and call intuits and paths, okay, crazy. Oh, do they even understand? Sorry, do you understand reality? For you to say what reality is, let's clear and ground. This is because you have released, we have different spectrums, right? Okay. But we're talking about the balance space, but in the space of observing spirit as well. Where we are in the higher space of space. Where we got a very high vibration of understanding. So-called logic is over-dependence on logic. Okay, so I'm talking balance, right? Mind, body, soul. So where we are riding on the governance of our intuition as well, from an exceptional standpoint, where we're able to hold that vibration so high, emotionally, I'm hearing as well, square it, emotionally intelligent, okay, as well here, and connecting to the emotional intelligence, we're there because of that, because we are holding the vibration. So somebody who is not understanding, okay, and not riding on that frequency, not in the heart space, ultimately, the heart chakra, is going to be trying to talk about these things with you. I'm seeing it as like a loving light. It's like a lower vibration, though. The energy's not flowing through the heart chakra. They're going to try and understand it. They're going to be like chirping. Hey, wait, what are you talking about? It's like, but you cannot explain this. If you try to explain this, then you're going to, don't get on their level, you guys. Don't get on their level. I'm hearing it like that. Take it as you will. Let's clear it. The way that you will be able to have that impact, the way that you'll be able to inspire understanding, true understanding, is by holding the light and the vibration and shutting shit down that does not empower you in that space. Let's clear it. That does not empower you in that space. We're talking if you are truly empowered in a vibrational state where you're feeling happy and satisfied and gratified. Okay, you're feeling the vibe. If you're in the flow, right? And you've ascended in some area of your life, let's clear it. It's an illusion that you have to validate it, right, in relation to another. You in that space, others will be empowered by you not giving into those conversations. Wow, let's clear it and ground. Clear and ground. So it's about focus. It's about clearing. It's about bravery. It's not about, if someone sees that you're empowered and they're trying to prove it to you, what the fuck does that shit mean right there? if you're empowered and somebody wants to interrupt, like, not direct, I mean, obviously they're not really in a flow state, right? They're not understanding, they're love and light. They're not understanding who they are to themselves. So, but the way is not for you to prove it to them and explain it, and then they're going to be empowered. They have to feel it. They have to feel that you're not giving in. So also though, what's important here is if someone comes in, let's clear it, and they see that you're in this frequency plane and you're inspired and you're empowered, and they're trying to like kind of just get involved, but from like an angle that's not empowered for you, like further as well, you have to ask yourself, are they worth my energy? To begin with, if someone's going to do that, right? And maybe they're going to make you feel bad, like, oh, why aren't you talking to me? Why aren't you explaining this to me? It's like, let's clear it. Because that's not what's actually empowering for you. And you have to see the narcissistic energies in that person. I'm sorry, but you do. I don't care who it is. It could be a frickin', you know, it's like, you know, the tantrum of the inner child with an adult. You have to say, I'm sorry, let's clear it. I do not interact with frequencies that disempower myself or others. I am owning my vibration. So, yeah. And you have to be super focused on the energy. And knowing what is coming in to reimagine that conversation with yourself.
Real-time astrology alert. The moon leaves void of course bubble of Gemini and enters Cancer. Give 6 more hours to streamline in Cancer for important decisions.
That's a real-time astrology update. So the void, of course, is now over in Gemini. On that note, void, of course, is now over. The moon has entered into Cancer. And we talk more about that on Astro Real Time. But yeah, but getting back to it. So the moon is now at 0 of Cancer. Let's clear it. Yeah, 0 of Cancer. It's going to take about 6 hours to streamline into Cancer. And anyway, so now, but for some of you, though we're saying, right? Let's clear it. Like you have to see the real conversation that's happening there with that person, and you have to, or that energy, whatever, and identify the energy and say, hey, like, I'm not here for that. And judge me. What's the worst case? What's the worst case scenario? You're going to judge me. Well, that maybe needs to happen. Maybe you need to judge me. You need to judge me. And then you need to realize after. But by way of the feeling. Right? Lead by example, you guys. Be brave with your energy space. What brings you a sense of energetic vitality? Where you feel, because you can make decisions and be in the cool kids crowd and feel like your people are accepting you, blah blah, but you could be totally feeling disempowered, right? Let's clear it. Maybe these decisions as well extend into matters of emotion, the heart space. Where I wanted to say success finances. Like, don't do something that you know is you're not gonna resonate with, even if you're so-called making money. Let's clear it. It's not about you guys. It's about vibration. Think about how many people are so-called successful, they're not happy. Let's clear it around. But, yes. So, yeah, apply these messages to the way, apply this story to the way that you feel it resonates with you. Let's clear the energy around. Apply it in your way. Maybe this is coming down to matters of career. But the most important thing is that you're leading by example vibrationally. So do not make sacrifices when it comes to your vibration. I don't care who the fuck comes in and wants to say whatever in relation to that, okay? I don't care who wants to say what. I don't care who wants to say what. Even if they're oh my god, the smartest, the most attractive, the most this, the most that, blah, 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 blah. If they're interrupting the way that you hold your vibration, that is a clue for you that they're not in resonance. Love and light to you guys, thank you, and ultimately with themselves. And again, the greatest thing that you can do is hold your vibration, always in that case especially. Love and light to you guys. I'll see you guys in the next readings, and on Real Time Astrology Members 48 Hours will be on there later today. And yeah, keep grounded, guys. Love and light. I don't think this thing ends though, because my phone is I don't think it's, okay, oh, the screen is broken. But yeah, so you guys, again, keep Keep clearing your aura. 144 in the room. Love and light, you guys. Bye.